This is a cold and damp ancient town in the Jiangnan region, where the old willow trees by the riverbank are covered with slippery moss, exuding a sense of age-old beauty. This is the place. In the midst of the ancient buildings, Li Xiang finally found the courtyard from the photo. He took Su Lin's hand and walked straight in. Li Xiang had captured this photo from a post on the internet, which recounted a heartwarming and enduring love story that took place in this ancient mansion. According to legend, if two lovers spend a night together in this ancient mansion, they will grow old together and never be separated. Su Lin had followed her boyfriend to this ancient town for the sake of this story, despite the hardships. This ancient town is a small tourist attraction, with each household having guest rooms specially set up for visitors. They were received by an ordinary peasant woman, who scrutinized them for a long time before reluctantly taking the money and leading them to their room. As evening approached, another person came to inquire about a room. Su Lin turned to see that the visitor was a family of 3 who had arrived on the same bus as them. The chubby baby in the father's arms blinked its big eyes, smiling with 2 pearly white teeth, looking very adorable. However, as soon as they entered the courtyard, the baby suddenly burst into loud cries, turning and struggling desperately on the father's shoulder, as if something terrifying in the courtyard was threatening him. The father took a step back and left the courtyard, and the baby recovered his smile. The couple exchanged an awkward glance and re-entered the courtyard. The baby's reaction became even more intense, scratching and kicking desperately, even leaving 2 blood marks on the man's face, forcing the father to leave the old mansion before showing his smile again. The wife's face turned somewhat strange, she whispered something to her husband in a low voice, and the family quickly walked away. The baby's reaction deeply affected Su Lin. She remembered someone saying that children under the age of 2 could see the existence of ghosts. A cold wind blew, and she felt a shiver down her spine. However, the hostess continued as if nothing had happened, leading them to the backyard, without even changing the pace of her footsteps. Li Xiang held Su Lin's hand and walked through the corridor into a clean and tidy bedroom. The room had a bathroom, air conditioning, a television, and even a computer. The hostess instructed that they would bring 2 pots of boiled water later, and then left, closing the door behind them. Su Lin opened the computer and was very satisfied with the room's environment, while Li Xiang, as he tidied up their belongings, asked, "Do you really believe in the existence of Mei Hua's ghost?" Su Lin earnestly replied, "When the child cried just now, I felt like there was someone beside me." Suddenly, a gust of cold wind blew into the room, and Li Xiang also felt a chill. Suddenly, Su Lin let out a cry of surprise. Li Xiang turned to look and found a strange crimson color on the computer screen. Su Lin looked at the space skin on the screen, excitedly showed it to Li Xiang, and then asked him for the code. How coincidental, the owner of this space is actually named Mei Hua. Su Lin exclaimed with joy. Li Xiang, do you think this Mei Hua might be the same Mei Hua from this old mansion? Li Xiang smiled in response, perhaps. Then he turned and went to the bathroom. Only he knew that Mei Hua didn't actually exist. The other party generously sent the skin code. Su Lin responded with a red lip icon, claiming the beautiful space as her own. However, at the moment the space skin was successfully changed, Su Lin suddenly felt a chilling sensation at the back of her neck, as if cold air was blowing into her collar. She thought it was Li Xiang playing a prank on her, but when she turned around, there was no one there. She saw the fleeting reflection of a woman's figure in the wall mirror. The night in the countryside comes earlier than in the city, without the noisy neon lights, creating a comfortable atmosphere for the body and mind. After dinner, Su Lin and Li Xiang strolled along the gentle breeze of the ancient town's embankment. In the distance, a few old men were enjoying a game of chess in a pavilion. Suddenly, a soft voice from behind called out, "Su Lin, you've come." Su Lin, puzzled, wanted to turn around to look, but was stopped by Li Xiang. He whispered in her ear, "Whatever you do, don't turn around." She remembered her grandmother's advice that if someone calls your name from behind at night, never turn around. Her heart raced, and her muscles stiffened as Li Xiang held her tightly and swiftly moved forward. Yet, the voice persisted closely behind them. "Su Lin, won't you look back at me? You came for me, didn't you? I am Mei Hua." Su Lin, suppressing her intense curiosity, tried her best not to turn around. However, the more she couldn't look, the more she wanted to. She cautiously turned her head and saw Li Xiang looking tense, and she could feel his fear. He also turned to look at her, and in his eyes, Su Lin saw the face of a beautiful woman, a white robe drifting down before her, plunging her world into darkness. She didn't know how she returned to the old mansion, only that when she woke up again, she was lying in bed, but Li Xiang was nowhere to be seen. "Li Xiang, Li Xiang." Su Lin called out softly as she got up to search for him. She heard a faint rustling outside, so she pushed the door open and went out. From the neighboring room, she heard a faint crying. She approached quietly, listening at the door, and heard someone speaking softly, but she could faintly make out a man crying and saying, "My dear, I've come back." Su Lin was startled. Mei Hua had been waiting for her most beloved man in this old mansion for an entire lifetime. Was he back tonight? She crouched down, trying to peek through the gap under the door to see what was happening. "What are you doing here?" a stern voice suddenly exclaimed. The old woman stood silently behind Su Lin, holding a dead chicken with its neck slit, blood dripping down, and the crying inside abruptly stopped. Su Lin smiled awkwardly and hurriedly ran back to her room. At this moment, Li Xiang lay on the bed, looking at her with resentment. "You wild girl, I was only gone for a moment, and you disappeared." Su Lin chuckled and slipped under the thin blanket, mysteriously telling Li Xiang, "Mei Hua's husband has returned." Li Xiang paused, lightly tapping Su Lin's head, and the two burst into laughter, no longer feeling frightened. Su Lin suddenly noticed that the skin she touched on Li Xiang was icy cold. Su Lin dreamed again of being in a sea of fire, her whole body burning with intense pain. When she woke up, the piercing pain hadn't subsided, but had intensified. Su Lin curled up in the corner of the bed, gritting her teeth, cold sweat soaking through her thin nightgown. After returning home from the old mansion, she would experience an excruciating pain every day, as if her heart was being torn apart and her lungs ripped open. Yet strangely, this pain would miraculously vanish during the daytime. The pain at night left scars similar to burns, which slowly spread to half of her body and even started to spread to her face. Su Lin visited several hospitals for all sorts of examinations and x-rays, but doctors were at a loss and could do nothing about her rare condition. Until one day, she noticed a dark red birthmark on the back of her hand, which reminded her of the old woman in the ancient town's old mansion, who had the same dark red birthmark on her hand. Su Lin decided to go back to the ancient town to seek answers. However, by this time, Li Xiang had mysteriously vanished. Su Lin tried everything to contact him, but there was no trace. Li Xiang's roommate said that one night, Li Xiang had suddenly screamed and ran out of the dormitory and had never returned. Su Lin arrived at the ancient town alone. The old woman looked at her with a flicker of surprise in her eyes, then smiled and invited her into the house. Su Lin grabbed the woman's hand, only to find the conspicuous dark red birthmark was gone and her skin had become unnaturally smooth and fair for her age. Su Lin was astonished and boiling with anger. She sternly questioned the old woman, "You are Mei Hua from the internet, you stole my skin." The old woman shook her head and led Su Lin to the room where she had stayed before. "Girl, just sleep here for a good night, and I guarantee I will give you a satisfactory answer tomorrow. Do you want to buy more time? Do you really know your boyfriend?" the old woman asked her back. Su Lin looked at her doubtfully, and suddenly, a hammer appeared in the old woman's hands. Su Lin felt a sudden drop in her heart. "What are you trying to do?" The old woman picked up the hammer and started furiously smashing the white wall. The wall crumbled rapidly, and after a few hits, the wall broke open. The old woman pulled out an old photograph from inside. In the photo was a handsome man who looked strikingly similar to Li Xiang. Who is he? Su Lin was shocked. He is Mei Hua's husband, the old woman said pantingly, his name is Li Yi. Su Lin, run. Li Xiang's avatar suddenly started flashing rapidly. Su Lin's blood rushed to her head, where are you? Why do you want to harm me? Run, she's right behind you. Suddenly there was a power outage, and the whole world plunged into darkness. In the corner, there was a vague white shadow. Su Lin couldn't adjust to the darkness at first, but she vaguely felt someone standing there. The white shadow slowly drifted towards the bathroom, and for the instant before it was concealed by the wooden door, Su Lin saw a face densely covered with scars. A thought struck Su Lin, who was she, and when did she enter my room? The light suddenly turned on, and Su Lin rushed into the bathroom, but there was no one there. A black figure flashed past the window. Su Lin hurried out the door and followed it. The figure quickly turned into a neighboring room, vanishing from sight. Under the cold moonlight, the entire old mansion seemed more eerie and sinister. Su Lin reached the door of that guest room. A large, black padlock hung securely in place. Surprised, Su Lin wondered how the figure had entered. Just as Su Lin was about to turn and leave, the padlock suddenly fell off on its own and hit the ground with a thud. The door creaked open by itself. Suddenly, a hand reached out from inside the door and grabbed Su Lin's wrist, pulling her in. Ah! Su Lin screamed in terror, and a hand covered her mouth. She opened her eyes wide in fright, and in the moonlight, she saw Li Xiang's face. She struggled with all her might to break free from Li Xiang's grasp, but to no avail. In her ear, Li Xiang whispered, Su Lin, listen to me, I heard everything she told you during the day. She lied to you, I am not Li Yi, I am Li Xiang. Moreover, there's no such person as Mei Hua in this world, it was just a story I made up. I just wanted to bring you here to see Xia. If you promise not to scream, I'll let you go. Su Lin nodded, and Li Xiang let go of her hand. She took deep breaths and asked, who is Xia? Xia is my ex-girlfriend. Li Xiang bowed his head, tears welling up in his eyes. 3 years ago, there was a fire in the school dormitory, and she didn't make it out. Su Lin's heart softened, she patted Li Xiang on the back gently, not knowing how to console him. Only then did she notice a black coffin in the center of the room, emitting a faint smell of blood. That night, Su Lin and Li Xiang had a conversation in the room. Was it you crying in the house that night? Su Lin looked at her boyfriend in disbelief. Li Xiang nodded. Then how did you get back to the room before me? I jumped through the window. Li Xiang pointed to the rear window. I still don't understand, why would the store owner lie to me? And why did her skin become smooth? Did she take my skin? Li Xiang's words sent chills down her spine. After I returned to school, I always felt that something was not right. Later, I finally remembered that Xia came from a single-parent family. She only had a dad, and her mom had died long ago, so who could the old woman in the mansion be? So, a few days ago, I returned to the ancient town and started asking around. I found out that not long after Xia died, her father died of a serious illness. Ever since, the old house started being haunted, with the front door opening automatically in the morning and closing at night. And no one has ever seen a person in the house. That's when I realized that the store owner was actually a malevolent spirit residing in the old house. Tonight is the critical moment for her to replace your skin, that's why she fabricated lies to stall for time. Just now, when I saw her standing behind you, that's why I logged in and signaled you to leave. Su Lin was startled, what should I do now? That sensation returned, like an electric shock, waves of scorching pain spread throughout her body as if one were amidst a blazing inferno. Especially severe was the pain that drilled and gnawed at her back. Su Lin bit down hard, her forehead beating with large, cold droplets of sweat. She rubbed the back ceaselessly with her palms, hoping to alleviate the agony. However, instead of providing relief, the pain only intensified. Li Xiang, at a loss upon seeing this, quickly lifted her up, allowing her back to touch the coffin. Curiously, as soon as Su Lin's back made contact with the wood, a refreshing coolness and comfort spread through her. The pain vanished. Li Xiang let out a sigh of relief. This is a cooling coffin. Zixia's father couldn't bear to bury his only daughter, so he preserved her body in this cold coffin. Su Lin stood leaning against the chilly coffin, suddenly wanting to see Zixia's face. With a gentle nudge, a slit opened in the coffin lid, and Su Lin saw a charred human face, its eyelids burned off, and its brown-yellow eyes bulging out. A feeling of revulsion churned in her stomach. She let out a cry and buried her face in Li Xiang's embrace. Li Xiang's complexion changed, and with a swift motion, he pushed open the entire lid. Li Xiang, you. Su Lin saw Zixia's flawless skin on the body in the coffin, except for burn marks on her face. Her heart quivered, and Li Xiang held her even tighter. Debts must be repaid. A chilly wind blew into the room, and an eerie laugh of a girl echoed through the air. Su Lin, you're here. The voice seemed to emanate from within the coffin. A bolt of lightning struck, thunder bellowed, and a torrential downpour began outside. Zixia's body slowly started to levitate, floating up into mid-air, revealing a small patch of burn marks still visible on her back. Su Lin realized something and grabbed Li Xiang's hand to flee, but he remained holding her tightly. She clearly saw a smile hanging on Li Xiang's lips. Zixia's body emitted a faint green glow, and Su Lin felt an excruciating burning sensation across her skin. She desperately shoved at Li Xiang to no avail, becoming like a lamb to the slaughter in his embrace. Tears rolled down Su Lin's cheeks. Li Xiang, why? Li Xiang said, Su Lin, I'm sorry. It was you who willingly chose to exchange skins with Zixia. The pain on Su Lin's back disappeared, and Zixia's back became clear and flawless. Her body slowly drifted in front of Su Lin. All the pain suddenly concentrated on Su Lin's face as she watched in despair while fresh skin grew over Zixia's face, her heart hurting more than her body. Zixia, with a newly formed mouth, laughed shrilly. Su Lin, is exchanging skin fun? In utter despair, Su Lin closed her eyes, awaiting death's arrival. However, after all the pain subsided, she did not die. She opened her eyes and saw another self snuggling in Li Xiang's arms. She knew it was Zixia clothed in her skin. Now, Su Lin's body was covered in ugly scars. Zixia glanced at Su Lin. When you killed me, did you ever think you would pay with your life in this way? Could it be you? Su Lin was momentarily stunned, bowing her head in remorse. In high school, Su Lin was a diligent student. She would light candles on the balcony to read at night, but accidentally set fire to a sheet hanging from the upstairs dormitory, causing a significant blaze. In that fire, a girl was burned alive. Li Xiang, please tell me you aren't with me just for vengeance for Zixia. Su Lin collapsed weakly on the floor, still holding onto a sliver of hope for love. Li Xiang nodded. Su Lin, I love you. But after knowing that you caused the fire that killed Zixia, I couldn't help but feel guilty towards her. There's an old legend in the ancient town that if a body is perfectly preserved for 3 years, and the coffin is smeared with chicken blood every night, the dead can be resurrected. I brought you to the ancient town to see if Zixia had come back to life. However, she didn't want to meet me with the face of a burnt ghost. She wanted to take back her own face, and you just happened to give her that chance. It was you who asked to exchange skins with her, don't you remember? Su Lin, we both owe Zixia. I had no choice but to help her. A bright bolt of lightning streaked across the sky, and a long shadow appeared at the doorway. Zixia ran crying into the embrace of the old woman. Mom, I'm back. Illuminated by the lightning, Su Lin saw 2 clear tears rolling down the old woman's face. She held Zixia tightly in her arms, her lips trembling with excited sobs. Su Lin looked questioningly towards Li Xiang, who shrugged, feigning ignorance. Li Xiang, this is my mom. She divorced my dad when I was very little, but my dad always told me she was dead. After my dad died, my mom came back to look after my body. She's been watching over it for 3 years, Zi Xia cheerfully introduced. The old woman looked at Li Xiang with affection. Young man, you bear a striking resemblance to Zi Xia's father. Su Lin suddenly understood the meaning behind the photo in the wall. Desperately, she watched this family reunion scene, suddenly feeling like she was the antagonist in this play. Every comedy ends with the tragic conclusion of a villain. Li Xiang picked up Su Lin's body and gently placed her into the cold coffin. The old woman, holding a dagger that glinted with cold light, paced slowly around the coffin. Suddenly, she plunged the dagger into Zi Xia's heart, shakily pulling her into an embrace. Child, mother has watched over you for 3 years, but she never wanted to see you harm others. Zi Xia looked incredulously at her own mother as she pushed the dagger deeper. Child, don't be afraid, it won't hurt, mom is with you. Let's go together. As thunder rolled, Zi Xia turned into a wisp of blue smoke and vanished. Su Lin felt a chill over her entire body, as if she were in the midst of ice 1,000 years old, so cold that her teeth chattered. Her skin quickly healed. The old woman looked at Su Lin kindly and smiled, peeling off the false skin that was on her arm. I never wanted you to know the truth. If possible, I would have liked to suffer on behalf of Zi Xia. Girl, don't resent your boyfriend. After her unfortunate death, Zi Xia turned into a vengeful ghost, especially seeing Li Xiang with you, her grudge grew heavier. After you left, she constantly haunted Li Xiang, so he had no choice but to seek my help. The only way was to let her live again to dissolve her resentment. I must leave now, girl, you will get better. With those words, she transformed into a wisp of blue smoke, dissipating with the wind. Li Xiang, tears brimming in his eyes, held Su Lin's hand. Su Lin, it's over now. Everything is in the past. Su Lin felt as though she was in a dream, perhaps upon waking, everything would just be an illusion.